Jack Daniel's makes some pretty decent higher end whiskeys, so when I saw that there was a single barrel version of their rye, and I had recently reviewed the rye a little bit less than a year ago, I would say for the price, I'd say this is a buy it. I thought this would be kind of a cool opportunity to do a taste test between the two and see if the extra money is actually worth it. So let's get into it. Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary, where I do the research to try to teach you a little something about what you're drinking. So I'm not going to spend too much time going over the history of the expression or even the brand, as I've already kind of done a lot of that, and you can check out the links up there if you're interested, or at the end of the video. So when I'm talking single barrel though, a lot of people might be a little confused by exactly what does single barrel mean, as opposed to maybe you've heard barrel proof or you've heard small batch. All these different terms are kind of there to confuse you and make you feel like there's a lot of expressions and a lot of differences. Single barrel is very easy though. This is probably one of the easier ones. It's all from a single barrel. So that single barrel, one barrel, was picked for its taste, its profile. It's exactly what the master distiller was looking for, or whomever picked out the barrel. And a lot of times what you're going to get is people who do barrel picks, local whiskey stores that want to do a barrel pick, and they like the taste of this particular barrel, so they get it all in its own bottle. Now, this is a barrel pick of their rye. So whatever they use to make this, which ends up being an amalgamation of a bunch of different barrels, instead they say, you know what, this barrel's a little bit more special, let's put it in this guy. So they're supposed to have a very similar flavor profile, but all things considered, this one's supposed to be a little bit more special, and it costs about twice the price, so it probably should. So let's go ahead and kind of give these a nosing and a tasting, see if there's really that much of a difference between the two, and ultimately come up with a solution or a idea at the end of which one I think is better. Now the good news is I have not done this prior to this video. I kind of didn't want to ruin the fun, so I thought it'd be fun to do this live for you. So here we go. So I'm going to pour the regular rye. The regular rye, I believe, is 45%. So this is 90 proof. So it's good. It's not 40 proof. Sorry, 40%. It's not 40%. All right, let's go ahead and pour the single barrel rye. Now this is 47%. So they're very similar. They really shouldn't be that much different when it comes to alcohol. Now that's another thing to keep in mind. A lot of things when you see single barrel, a lot of people are going to think that they're not going to bring down the alcohol percent, but they totally will. When you're taking whiskey out of a barrel, oftentimes it's a much, much higher proof, at least 55%, if not higher. So let's go ahead and give these both a nose. So this, I'm going to go with the lower ABV first, just because. So now something that you notice on this one is that there is kind of a youngness to the nose here. It does smell a little bit like alcohol. It's not as refined, it's not as balanced and rounded off. It's alcohol and then some vanilla and a little bit of spice, little maple sugar. In general, there's not a lot going on there, but I don't think people buy this particular whiskey for the nose, so I'm not going to begrudge it too much. Let's go ahead and give the single barrel a nose. So you're not getting that youngness, which is nice. It's a little bit more balanced, but it's also lacking something. There's no prominent smell. It's more very even keeled, right? So this does smell a little bit like cherry, a little bit like banana, and a little bit like rye spice. Now, of those three, I'm not sure I could pick one out to be the forerunner. I think it's just kind of a very balanced nose. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to give them both one more quick little nose here. Okay, so of the two, this one is better, but I would say if it weren't for that slightly young nose there, they're very similar. I know I gave slightly different nosing notes, but I think that bit of alcohol really throws off the balance, whereas I might smell something more like a cherry. Over here, for whatever reason, I smell something more like a banana. So it is what it is. Let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. So the taste on that is pretty good. It's really approachable. But what I see this being better for is a cocktail. And it's got, I'm trying to think of how I would best describe this. Banana is the forerunner. There's caramel, there's rye, and there's oak. And that's about it. That's pretty good considering it's I don't even remember how much this costs. I'll put it up on the screen. But it's not very expensive either way. So let's go ahead and give this a taste. Cheers. There's a little bit more body to it. The higher ABV does come out a bit more in that it tastes a little bit more alcoholic. It doesn't balance out the flavors as well as actually this did, which is interesting. Now here is the downer. This, I feel, is just a generally blah kind of whiskey. And what I mean by that, there's just no interesting stuff going on in here. It's a slightly higher proof, a bit more expensive, almost twice the price, and you're really not getting any more character out of it, at least to me. It does have a hotter feel. The alcohol does come off a little bit better. It sticks with you a little bit. But the taste here, it's a little grainy, honestly. It's not refined. I'm shocked that this is a single barrel and the other one is just a whole bunch of stuff combined together. Obviously, they were looking for different flavor profiles here because clearly somebody with the resources of Jack Daniel's did both of these bottles on purpose. What they were thinking about this barrel, at least in my opinion, I don't know. It's not for me, though. Now, I'm still going to pick this guy over this guy. When I consider all things money and value, I can't, in good conscience, pick this over this. If this was 50% ABV, I could see some argument for the higher price. I just don't see it. So, to me, I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but the single barrel rye from Jack Daniel's gets an ignore it. So, there you go. If you're curious about stuff related to Jack Daniel's and to kind of see all the videos I've done on Jack Daniel's, you can check them out right here. Other than that, check out whatever YouTube thinks you should watch over here. Or check out the Patreon. So, thank you very much for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary, and have a great rest of your day. Cheers.